Hey, 4C divers! Welcome to the 4C Facebook Live. Thank you for tuning in. How's everybody doing? It is August 23rd, 2021. It's a Tuesday, and we have a great presentation lined up for tonight, but let's do a quick check-in, see how everyone's doing. Give us a hello and let us know where you're listening in from. Are you here in Florida? Are you outside of Florida? Are you in a different country? Are you on a different planet? Let us know. We want to know who is listening in with us right now, tonight. We love getting your guys' comments. So if you have any questions about tonight's presentation, go ahead and write that in the comment section. If you like what you're seeing, give us a thumbs up, smiley face, or a heart emoji. And it lets us know that you're enjoying the presentation and we're picking really cool topics for Facebook Live. So, another thing that you guys need to do, if you have not registered yet for tonight's event, you need to go over to www.force-e.com, go to the event tab, drop it down, find tonight's presentation, and register on our Eventbrite link. That gives us your name and your email address so we can put it into a random name picker and see if you win tonight. All right, so everybody's over here saying hello. That's awesome. Some other things to notice, if you guys have topics that you are thinking would be a great topic for us to do on Facebook Live, and you might know somebody who wants to give a presentation, write to me. My email address is info@force-e.com. We always like to get new topics and new presentations so that you guys have something to do and watch when you're not diving. So hopefully you have been diving. The ocean's been great. We've had some great conditions, and if you've been able to get out there and see the Goliath groupers here on the east coast of Florida, we have the Goliath grouper aggregation. They are filing up on the wrecks up in the Palm Beach and Jupiter area, and some on Boynton. So if you want to go on one of these trips, we have in our event page some trips still available. So go to that to look at the trip dates and the locations. And I should also tell you guys that we have a trip plan to do the shark tooth diving, the topic that is tonight's presentation. It's going to be September 12th. So if you want to go and do this dive that you're listening to tonight, we have spots available. So if you want to find out more information, I'll add the link to the comment section and you can take a look there. All right, so Blair, let's see. I think you're still unmuted. All right, guys, so we have Blair from Aquanuts. That's the dive operator in Venice Beach, and she's going to talk to you guys about shark tooth diving, or as she calls it, hunting, and the fossils that she finds. So Blair, please go ahead, take it away. Tell them about who you are and the organization you work with and everything you need to let us know about finding really cool things underwater.
All right. Hi, guys. Like she said, my name's Blair, and I work with Aquanuts Dive Charters here in Venice, Florida. And we specialize in fossil hunting. So we find teeth like this and a lot of other stuff out there every day. And I just wanted to share some of that with you guys. I did my first fossil hunt back in 2009, and on and off since then, every time I am in Venice or in Florida, I am out here fossil diving. So kind of a background, I guess. We find a lot of different fossils, not just the big shark's teeth, but we find mammoth teeth and direwolf and ground sloth and walrus tusks, everything you can kind of think of. So basically about 10,000 to 2 million years ago during the Pleistocene era, our land here extended out about another 100 miles. So during that time, it was the Ice Age. You had all sorts of animals here. And what's really fun is that we find a lot of their fossils here. So this here is an example of a Columbian mammoth tooth. And what's really cool is when you're swimming along and you see something like this, you don't really think like, oh, that's a mammoth tooth. So a lot of what we do down there is feel and touch and really kind of investigating what you see. There's kind of a thin layer of silt dusted over everything. So a lot of it is shapes and colors, kind of like you're back in kindergarten. But with the mammoth teeth, as you can see here, it almost looks like a bread loaf with slices in it. So that's kind of the giveaway there that is a piece of a mammoth tooth. This one would have been about this size here. They come in kind of all shapes and sizes from this small up to this big and weighing about 15 pounds. So it can definitely be something heavy and big. If you find something like that, you can kind of carry it around like a football, or you can loosen your BC cummerbund and stick it on your cummerbund, tighten it down there. If you do find something like that, we've had people that then turn to come up and it falls out of their cummerbund. So definitely grab hold, because gravity does still work underwater there. We also find teeth from horse, bison, camel, llama, all sorts of things. This here is a horse tooth. You can kind of see the bite surface here and the lines running through it. So that's kind of one of the more common things we find there. This one here, I don't know if anyone wants to take a guess as to what this is. If so, throw it in the comments there. This part here is kind of the piece that really distinguishes it. It is a deer antler, and that's where a lot of texture and stuff comes into play, because this one, it's very light, very porous, whereas it doesn't really look all that different than a manatee bone. But when you feel them and the texture, that's where you can see the difference. So this one's deer antler, this is very dense, heavy, it's manatee bone. Find all sorts of different stuff, but kind of going back in time to what we're all here for, because we all want those meg teeth, right? About 2 million to about 8 million years ago, during the Pliocene and Miocene eras, all of Florida was pretty much underwater. So they kind of think that Florida was covered and uncovered with water about 6 times during history, and during that particular era, the big megs kind of lived off the coast of the Carolinas, came down in the Gainesville area to drop their pups, and then because we have the continental shelf out here, we had a lot of cold water upwelling, which brings fish, whales, manatees, everything like that. And that is meg food, so it also brings the megs. Plus, while they're feeding, it's very easy for them to be losing teeth, and that is what we like to find. So compared to that dense, heavy, round manatee bone, we also find whalebone out there. Now, whalebone looks more like petrified wood on one side, a lot flatter than that manatee bone there, which was round. And I picked these up looking for on them something like this here. I don't know if you can really see there, but we have these marks here, and that is actually predation marks, where a shark has bit into the bone there, which kind of, you make up all sorts of stories on what you think happened to that whale there. Pretty exciting. We find big whale vertebras, mammoth verts, everything like that out there. Whale ears, they had 3 inner ear bones, one of which looked like an actual ear. So if you have kids or anything, they love these. Very exciting to find. Then some areas we go to also have tons of the small teeth, as we call them, which are bulls, lemons, tigers, all sorts of things. We have sand tigers. These make excellent necklace teeth. But basically, they're kind of just keeping us preoccupied while we're looking for those megs. And megs had at least 3 rows of teeth, and it was like a conveyor belt. This is actually the front side, even though when we have them at home, we kind of use this as the display side. And as they're feeding, they're dropping teeth constantly, and they're kind of moving forward like a conveyor belt. They say about every inch of tooth was about 10 foot of shark. So this one here, this would come from a shark the size of a school bus. Whereas this one here would come from something much larger than that. Kind of glad they're not swimming around with us today. Also, some of them are covered in coralline algae like this. So you can see underneath there, there's a really nice tooth hiding. And you can clean them up when you get home, and they'll be nice and shiny when you're done with that. So don't worry if they're covered. They're millions of years old. You're the first human to ever really touch these things. So in this day and age, it's really hard to say you're the first human to touch anything, let alone a massive shark's tooth. Now here in Venice, we're kind of known for the traditional black teeth like this, but teeth are, their color comes from what they're fossilized in. So we also get golden beach teeth here, where the root's going to be a real nice light gold color, and then the blade will be darker. We also get chocolate top teeth, and really everyone wants a different colored teeth, things like that, stuff like that. And different teeth are worth different amounts based on their color and quality. But what we're really known for here in Venice is quality teeth, not really size, but to have the serrations and the tip and the shiny enamel, things like that. We also find some stuff that we added to the fossil bed out there. So during 1943 and 44, they did training runs for World War II out here off Casperson Beach. So occasionally you find 50 caliber shells and projectiles out there. They're not fossils, but they still are really fun to find. And when you clean them up, they actually have years stamped on the bottom there. You can see this one was actually from 1943. So pretty cool there. Next, what we're going to do is I actually have kind of a find the fossil game that helps people with hunting and stuff like that. So I think Nicole was going to do the screen share for me. And we were going to kind of talk about what kind of bottom you should be looking at when you're out there, what it might look like when you're underwater, and what some of these fossils might actually look like while you're underwater.
Blair, if you could just give me a chance here, because the way you sent it to me, it was on my phone. I'm trying to get them downloaded. So
okay, sorry about that. It should be a Google Drive link. If you have your email, I could share it there.
Right, that's what I was trying to do. So hold on.
Sorry about that, guys.
Okay, everyone. Okay. I did have a question come in. Someone was asking, maybe you already explained it, but it said, why are they all black? Did you talk about why they're all black?
Okay. So actually, these ones that I have are all black on the tray here. Sorry, there you go. I should have sent that to you now. So it's due to the minerals that they're fossilized in and the exposure to salt water. So oftentimes we do get ones that are gold on top or chocolate top, and it all depends on what they're fossilized in. To me, it almost feels like the golden ones are coming from a more shelly area. When they're fresh out of the clay, they tend to be a little more shiny, almost blue on it. We have some areas that you find teeth that almost have a little bit of a green tinge to them, but it's all due to the minerals that they are fossilized in. And then also the longer they're exposed to the salt water tends to turn them a little blacker. So typical Venice tooth would be black, and then kind of the prize of Venice would be the golden beach tooth, which is gold on top, like that.
Okay, I think we got it.
Hey. All right. So we're going to do just a little hunting class here. And if we just go forward to the first kind of photo, past these lovely drawings. All right. Sorry, it's probably moving a little slowly. So if we go forward to the first one, that's like a picture for me. All right, one more. There we go. So we're going to start with an easy one. On this one, I'm pretty sure you guys can all spot the Meg there. Nicole, if you want to give it kind of like a little circle or like put your pointer on it there, because that one's kind of an easy one we're going to start with. But we're also going to talk about the ground and where that tooth is. So we all love when they're laying out flat like this, just waiting to be found. Not always the case, but we figured we'd start out with one like that for you. But what to notice is you're not on just like hard packed flat sand or sand dollar land. That would be an area that's not so good to hunt, as well as areas that are just completely crushed shell, very hard packed, something like that. Those are two areas to avoid. Whereas in this picture, you can see the tooth is just laying there, but the ground, there's some bits of crushed shell, but there's also black gravel. There's little bits of rubble. And we call rubble basically rocks that you can move, whereas a reef would be rocks that you can't move. So you see clamshells and some little rocks, pieces of bone around that tooth there, a clay bottom with little bits of black gravel mixed in. That would be an area that you would really want to hunker down in and look around and hope that you find something laying out like that for you. We can go on to the next one. All right, and that points out that tooth there for you in case anybody missed that one, but hopefully not, because that's starting easy. It will get progressively more difficult here. All right, so this one, a little harder to pick out, but it is still laying out flat for us to see there. Nicole, can you find it and maybe put the cursor on it right there? Yep, so right there, if you can see where she's looking, so that tooth is just sitting out there. And what to notice with this picture is if you look kind of to the side, it's almost like a no man's land over there. There's not much of anything. It's just kind of flat like that. that would be an area that you don't really want to go. However, where the tooth is on what we call an edge. So on the one side, you can see little bits of rock, you can see a shell here, stuff there, things like that. Now where the terrain on the bottom changes from that rubbly area with little pieces of rubble to no man's land, anywhere that there's a change, that's a really good place to look as well. Things tend to kind of get rolled over there or pushed over there and kind of stop as it changes like that. All right, next. All right, this one is still on the easy side. The tooth kind of stands out here because of the color. So again, you have some shell, but it's not hard packed crushed shell. And you can pick out the tooth there because of its color. Anything black or gray, you definitely want to be touching it and investigating it. Obviously, never touch any live corals, any live fish, anything like that. But pieces of rock, anything black that's bone, you want to almost kind of be crawling along the bottom like this, touching things like that. Because right here, you can't tell for sure if it's a tooth or not, but definitely once you touch it with that feel, you'd be able to tell that it's a tooth there. All right. All right, this one gets a little more difficult. As you can see, I kind of zoomed in because it's really hard to see in the zoomed out one. But this one here is kind of on its side. So it's on its side like this. It kind of rolled up against a piece of rock and stuck right there. This is where you're going for shapes. So any sort of triangle like that is really good. Sometimes they're on their side like the one in the picture, so like that. Mickey Mouse ears is another shape that we really like to see. And you could get one ear like that, small triangles. So this one here, lines is a very good thing to look for. Rocks don't often come in straight lines, so there are some tricky ones out there. But a line usually says it's going to be a tooth or a piece of whalebone, something like that. So in the picture here, you can see that it is right up against the rock there. I think if you go to the next one, I have it circled. I think this is one that I circled. Yep, right there. It's kind of hiding in plain sight there. And then I think it gets more difficult from here. So hopefully, all right. This one does get more difficult. This one, it is hiding. It is kind of a straight line sticking up like this over in the corner. And if we go to the next one, it will actually be a video of pulling it up so you can kind of see how it's hiding there. Oh, that's not the next one. Oops. It might be mixed around in here because it's a video. It might have gone to the end, which it should be, yeah, labeled. All right, there it is. All right. Kind of went real fast, but you can see basically it was laying like this, and when you pick it up, it ended up being a whole tooth, which is very exciting. Sometimes it's broken and it's a heartbreaker and you have all the emotions in like half a second where you're excited and then you're upset and you're still very confused. All right, we're going to go on to the next one. This is a difficult one. It is on a reef. So in addition to the clay areas and the rubble fields and the black gravel, we also hunt on reefs quite a lot. And on reefs, they tend to be more what we call the camo megs, where they have this coralline algae growth on them, and they are really tucked in there. You have to think things get thrown up in the reef, settle down, and then they stay there for millions of years sometimes. Sometimes there's silt that covers it and blows away, and because the teeth are heavier, the silt blows away and leaves the teeth there. Also, the southern edge of the reefs, because the big waves come out of the northwest and kind of dig out those southern edges, that's a good place to hunt as well. Nicole, do you see the tooth in this one? Are you able to point the cursor at it? Yep, that's it right there, kind of next to the coral there. It is hiding. Very good, but it is a 4-inch tooth there, so that is definitely a find to have. All right. Then let's see. All right, this one's a fun one. So we have a lot of stone crabs here. If you come between October and April, actually it's stone crab season, so you can find teeth and get some dinner, which is really exciting. But what's even better is that the stone crabs dig down. So they're digging into the clay, digging right into our fossil beds. And oftentimes they are throwing things out because they don't want teeth and other fossils in their little homes. So sometimes in their spoils pile, you'll find something sitting out, clear as day. Other times where they've dug a hole right down the side, they've exposed a little piece of something that you wouldn't have seen otherwise. So I believe the next one will be a video of finding the tooth here, so you can see where touching everything black really comes into play. Let's see. Yep, that should be it. So yeah, just one little black piece, and it turns out to be quite a big meg there. So that really shows you exactly how touching things and investigating like that really helps out. All right. There we go. That is quite a feeling to have when you pull that out of there. All right, so it looks like we've made it to the second round of the game here. I wish you guys could really like shout out and point. It's really a lot more fun in person. But the second round here, we've already talked about the teeth, and now we're gonna look at some other fossils that we might find down there. The biggest part of this is being able to recognize what is the fossil, not necessarily naming it, though that makes the game a little more fun. However, just finding what the fossil is the biggest thing, because you can always put it in your bag. Even if you find a triangular shaped rock, I say put it in your bag. You can always throw rocks back, but it is very rare that you would be able to go back and find what you are looking for if you have left it. So this one here, start kind of something big. The next one is a video if you want to skip to that one, because people might have already seen what it is, and we will give it away what it is there. All right, so it's hiding pretty good right there in plain sight, and that is actually a large Columbian mammoth vertebra. So it has obviously been hanging out there for quite a while because it has a lot of growth and really blends in there. But something like that is always fun to find. All right, the next one is something, if you saw something like that laying out plain as day, that is a find of a lifetime. People hunt for this for years. That is actually a baby mammoth tooth. So it is about half the size of this one that I have here. And it was just sitting out plain as day. But what you see is there's a light dusting of silt over everything, but you can still make out the shape and there's lines going through it. You can see that it's something different that you should probably bring up. All right. This one here is something that I didn't know what it was when I touched it. So you can see it's slightly dusted off. It would have had that whole dusting on it, but that there is an adult mammoth tooth. So that one was about this big around and definitely had to go in my cummerbund, tighten it down. I add a little air to my BC because I wasn't going to like football hold that all the way back to the boat. But it was definitely a surprise where I was touching things that I thought were rocks, and all of a sudden I felt those lines going down it. So that's when I kind of turned, and we recommend when you find something that you want to dig out, not necessarily digging, but kind of giving a little fanning motion to get kind of that silt and that first layer off so you can see what it is you found. However, if you're diving with a partner, do not fan towards your partner because you will silt them out and they might not want to be your partner anymore. So there's that. All right, the next one, I guess. So this one is something that we kind of talked about but didn't see. Very similar to a horse tooth. That is actually a bison tooth. So we had really large bisons roaming around out there. This one here is what we kind of, oh, sorry, you can go ahead to the next one. It's okay. So this one here we kind of talked about with the crab hole special. Last time it was a meg tooth. This time, actually, I thought it was going to be just a manatee bone until I swam up to it. And then I found out that it was a whale tooth. The whale teeth, it's kind of hard to see. They look a lot like bones, but in person, when you feel them, they're going to be very soft, almost like an ivory feel, and have rings going around them. But that is a thing that once you're down there and you're touching things, that's why you really want to be investigating and touching it, because I definitely thought it was a manatee bone, and if I would have just swum away, I would have never found out that it was, in fact, a whale tooth, and I definitely wanted to keep that. So just a few more to just kind of get a feel for what it looks like down there and what you might be finding. This is a very good example of something where just find the fossil. And because you know it's a fossil and it looks different, you put it in your bag because not many people would know what it was when they were down there. This is actually a horse toe bone. Nicole, I don't know if you see it there. If you want to point it out, it's, yeah, right there. It's an odd shape. It's more distinct in shape than a rock would be. And it's kind of black. You can see under it there. So that is a horse toe bone. And then, all right, I think this is going to be the last slide we have here. Hopefully you guys can see that fossil there and maybe remember what this was. This is an whale's inner ear bone. So you can see it's kind of a very curved look right there, sitting with a little bits of rubble and stuff like that. So a whale ear there. It's got that curve going on it in the picture there. So that's kind of all I have. I know you guys have typed lots of questions over there. I couldn't really see all the questions. I think Nicole was gonna ask me some of them and hopefully get you guys some answers about what diving in Venice is like.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, we do have lots of questions. So
Okay.
thank you. That was great. I love the photos and videos. I mean, you definitely have to take your time, go nice and slow, and the biggest thing is have good buoyancy.
Yeah.
Because you want to silt out your area or your friends' areas. What are some other classes that you would recommend someone might want to take to do these types of dives?
So, I mean, on the boat, we require you just need the open water and 15 dive experience, but really any training you have, the better, because this is one of the few dives that we actually recommend going solo. So if you come with a partner, you can definitely dive with your partner and we'll give you a tagline so you guys can stay together, stay comfortable. But really, the more training, the better, especially being alone. A lot of people who come on the boat, they're rescue divers. They are very comfortable in the water. But like you were saying, buoyancy is definitely key. For me personally, I did my cavern course. And when I started diving, I was working with a bunch of people who are very into cave diving and things like that. And for me to have the training on how not to silt yourself out, to kind of, if this is your face, you kind of have this down a little, your fins up and doing the frog kick, stuff like that. Just little things like that have really helped me out. And I think a lot of that actually came from my cavern course.
Okay, so we talked about courses, but is there any specialized gear? I know you talked a little bit, but people want to know, should they be wearing gloves or no, because you won't be able to feel stuff? Like, what's your recommendations on bringing extra types of tools?
So for me, I'm more of a minimalist diver. I don't necessarily bring a lot of things down with me. I've seen people do all sorts of things, bring like ping pong paddles and shovels down there. However, for me, I just go down there. I don't even use a light 99% of the time. There's probably about 2 days a year that I actually bring lights down with me, and that's just if it's very dark. To me, basically, it's like headlights in the fog very often because that silty kind of silt in the water shines it back in my face. So I kind of keep it basic. If I do bring a light, I typically wear it on a helmet or a wrist strap because I want to keep my hands free for hunting. And as for gloves, it depends on the specific dive location, whether I'm going to wear gloves or not. In locations where we find a lot of these small teeth, barracuda, sawfish tines, things like that, I do not wear gloves because I want to be very fast at it. I can pick up a pound of teeth in like 30 minutes. And so I just want to go really quick and I don't want to have anything thick. When I do wear gloves, I personally wear white gardening gloves because they are very thin and you can still feel through them. White helps me distinguish the black fossils a lot easier. I've found a lot of people, especially that are maybe a little older, have trouble with their eyes. They like having the light colored gloves. But the only time I actually really wear gloves if we're diving a very reefy site or if I'm looking for mammoth teeth because I know they're common there. Because that's when like that mammoth vert that we saw the video of and turning that over, that had a lot of growth on it. So that's something that could very easily have a barnacle and cut your fingers or something like that. So if I know I'm diving a reefier site or looking for those mammoth teeth, I will put on those very thin gardening gloves. Even in winter, it'll get down to 59 degrees and I try to shy away from gloves most of the time.
Some people are asking about, is there lots of current in that area?
No, I would say it's actually a pretty easy dive in general. It is an anchor dive, so you do start at the boat, and it's your responsibility to also end at the boat. That being said, if anyone has trouble, me or Captain Mike is on the boat, and we can always jump in and help tow you back to the boat. Or once all the divers have returned to the boat, we can go and get you with the boat. However, it's usually very calm. We draw a map and give you compass heading. So actually, I didn't mention before, navigation. That is probably one of the key things that people should know going into this dive is how to use their compass and to have a compass. That we have a few that we can lend out on the boat. But you basically go down the anchor line and work around that area. You don't necessarily need to go far, and there's not much current at all. Usually you will surface in front of the boat and kind of drift back to the boat.
Awesome. And do you carry a dive flag when you're underwater, or does the boat just let you kind of do your own thing?
The boat has a dive flag up, so you are able to go within 100 feet of the boat, no problem. If you wish to carry a dive flag, I suppose you could. However, with the boat having the flag and people down there, I have carried flags, especially when I do beach dives and stuff. They often get caught around anchor ropes or around some other diver, and it's just one more thing to worry about. So because the boat has a flag, I do not carry a flag, no.
Okay, and what is the most interesting thing in your mind that you have found underwater during one of these dives?
Me personally, I guess would be a mammoth tusk that was just over 8 feet long. So that was a very exciting thing to find, and it took me an hour to dig it out and get it ready to have people come help me lift it up. So that's a pretty exciting find, I'd say.
Okay, good. So no pirate treasure.
No, that's over on the Treasure Coast where you guys are.
Awesome. Well, guys, hold on. I guess I should come back in on the screen here so you guys can see me. There I am. All right. So, guys, some of the questions you're asking, she either answered earlier in the presentation or Eric, our Forcey instructor, he's been answering them for you, stuff about the general depths and other things like that. So go ahead and he's been answering those for you. But Eric is there. Eric, say hi to everybody. Okay. Eric's been running a couple of these trips with the Aqua Nuts, and we have one scheduled September 12th with them, and there are spots still left on that trip. So all you got to do is go to our website, and let me pull that into the screen share here. Go to our website. Let's make it bigger. There we go. And go to that event tab, click on it, scroll it down, and you're going to see Shark Tooth Dives. And we have an AM and a PM trip on September 12th. So if you want to learn more about that, call Eric. He's at the Boca store, or you can look online for all the information on how to get on this Shark Tooth dive with us. If you can't make it on the 12th, then let Eric know if there's another date, and maybe you can put a trip together for you guys as well. So that's how the trip works. All right, let me just see if there's any more questions coming in. All right, there's Eric. All right, so I'm just looking to make sure I got everyone's questions. Oh, they wanted to know if you can clip off to the anchor line to follow back, just in case that they're not very good at navigation.
If you would like to, yes. However, most people who have done that have found significantly less fossils because they're down there playing with their reel and looking around and staying in like a specific area. Whereas if you're going to really hunt and listen to the class, look at the map, follow directions, you're going to stay on better ground and hunt better that way. However, if you would like to, you are more than welcome to.
Okay. All right, guys. So obviously when you go diving to do Shark Tooth dives and you want to take your tanks with you, you need some fills. So I grabbed everyone's name and I put it in our random name picker, as you can see here on the screen. Let's go ahead. Let's raffle off a few air fills. So the first person to get some air fills, we've got Earl, you are our winner tonight. You get 2 air fills at 4C Scuba Centers. All right. And I'm feeling pretty generous, so let's do another one. Let's see who else is going to get some fills. All right. And we've got Scotty Tomas. You also are a big winner for the night. Awesome. All right, guys. So, like I said, just go to our website, go to our events tab. You can find out more information about our trip right there, September 12th. Click on that, and there's that link. And if you have other dates, Eric will definitely put some together for you guys because he loves going over there and collecting these fossilized teeth. And obviously, everyone's over here. Some people have dove with you that are listening in, Blair. So they're saying how awesome you are finding things. So it's pretty.
Hopefully everyone can come over. Really, the more you do it, the more you're gonna eye for it, as of anything. So even if you've done it before, the more you come over, the more you do it, the more you're gonna find. Eric gets better with each trip. His first time out, I don't know if he was a pro, but he's really getting there.
I think somebody asked, what do you do with the teeth after you find them? And Eric says, keep it, sell them, or make necklaces.
Pretty much nails all of it there.
All right. Well, thank you, Blair, for a great presentation. We're always curious about what else we can do here in Florida with diving. And now we know we can go to Venice Beach and look for fossilized shark's tooth or fossilized bones of different animals. And hopefully you guys will join us on one of our trips. And thank you guys for listening in. Have a great night. See ya.
Bye. Thank you.